Hey everybody, it's Jaake here coming to you with my third tutorial. This tutorial is going to be on Twixtor and Real Smart Motion Blur. Before I get into the tutorial, if you could just leave a like and comment. Comment on what you want to see on the next tutorial, and liking just really helps me out. So, yeah. So first you want to do is import your clip. I'm just going to use Triple Bad. Triple Bad, one of my favorite clips. It's by my friend Finest. He's a great guy. If you don't know who he is, then go subscribe to him because he is a boss. I'll leave his link in the description for letting me use his clip. But anyways, what you want to do for Twixtor is you want to find the spot where you want a Twixtor. This looks like a good spot. Hold on, let me find a good spot. Yeah, this is a good spot right here. Alright, so what I usually do is either you can add an adjustment layer by going layer, new, adjustment layer, or you can just add Twixtor straight onto the clip. And what I use is Twixor Pro. I do not like regular Twixtor. I like Twixor Pro, so you can just drag that onto your layer like that, or I usually just right click and go effects, Twixtor Pro, blah 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 blah. But the first thing you want to do is you want to go to input frame rate and change that to 59.94 if that's what your clip is. That's what your clip should be. That's how it looks best, and if you want to have the best looking Twixtor, I suggest you use clips that are 59.94 frames per second. And if you know the spot where you want to Twixtor, just come over here to output control, click the little stopwatch, and you want to go forward like 2 or 3 frames, and to do that just hold control and the right arrow key. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll change the speed down to about 2. I usually use 2 or 3, just depends on how slow you really want it. Then just go, I don't know, say you want it for like 2 seconds or something like that. Then you just go to where you want to stop. I'll say like right here, and just go to your drop down menu, Twixtor Pro, go back to output control, and hit this little button over here. This adds a keyframe, and then you just hit control 1, 2, 3. You can even just go 1 frame if you want. I just usually go 3, and that is your Twixtor. So pretty much it goes from 100% to 2%. 2%, then back to 100%. You have to add this extra keyframe in here, or it'll just gradually change back to 100%. And then one last thing you can do is right-click, go Keyframe Assistant, go Easy Ease. I think that just makes the transition between the speeds smoother. And another thing you can do is you can go to these settings, the FG1, FG2, and FG3, and change the motion sensitivity to 60. But I normally don't do that. And now for the Real Smart Motion Blur. What Real Smart Motion Blur does is it pretty much adds a blur. It's a really nice effect. It adds in like a blur for whenever you're like there's a lot of movement on the screen. So as you can see right here, you can see it's kind of blurry. Like when you scope it in, it looks really nice if you use it right. And this is a plugin that you have to go out and download. Like with Twixtor, you don't just have it on After Effects when you install it. So you're gonna have to go, and I can't tell you how to get it, but what you should do is go on YouTube and type in how to get Twixtor, how to get Real Smart Motion Blur, and you'll find out how to do it. And one thing you also have to know is over here, make sure Twixtor, if you have it on your layer, it's the last thing on there, because if you have it like this, it's not gonna work, because Twixtor is weird. So make sure it's the last thing on there. And for Real Smart Motion Blur, my settings I usually use for my motion sensitivity like around 50, and my blur amount about 0.3 or 4. Or I would say 2.35. It just depends on how much you want. If you're doing like a trick shot episode, you're gonna want to have the blur amount to like a higher setting for like when he spins and stuff like that. But oh wait, I lied. You actually want the Real Smart Motion Blur under the Twixtor Pro. Sorry. But let's see. Let me go back in here and run preview this again for you, so you can see the motion blur and the Twixtor. Just wait a second. Yeah, you can see. There's like it's not like it's real blurry or anything. It's just like a subtle effect that just looks really nice. Some people don't even notice it, but I don't do an edit without it because it just looks boss. So yeah, as you can see just by the slow preview, you can see some of the blur, and then you can see the Twixtor there. Okay, this is almost done. Right, I'm previewing. Should be any second now. Yeah, see, you can see the blur is not really like there, but you see the Twixtor is really smooth and slow, and it's not very watery. So I mean, it looks good. So that's about it for this tutorial. There's not much else I can tell you guys about either of those plugins, but they're both made by the same company, and if you go, I'm sure you can find out how to use it for free. But I can't do that or I can get in trouble. So those are two plugins I would highly recommend using. For Real Smart Motion Blur, I would just put it on an adjustment layer. It's a lot easier because it'll just add it to your whole composition instead of just one clip by one clip. But those are the settings I use. So yeah, guys, this has been Acid Jake, and I am peacing out.